back to Your Hour. Joining us now is Jamie Whitfield from Recovery Matters. And you can go to her YouTube page and you can see some of her past segments from Your Hour, plus other things too.
Yes.
So, what's on your mind today, Jamie?
Well, today I just thought I would talk about basically the 3 stages of relapse. So often people have that misconception that people that relapse, it just happened all of a sudden. Like, oh, I'm walking down the street, I'm going to use today. It doesn't happen that way. It actually is a process that it has certain stages that it's a process that's ongoing. And if you don't utilize the tools that are given to us, you will find yourself going down to every stage, down to the physical part of picking up and using again. And so I've been stressed out here lately. I've been feeling like I have been in the first stage of emotional relapse. And just by recognizing how I'm feeling is really like the first step to not move any further down. And so I just wanted to kind of share, the stages and just my own experience of what I'm going through too. The first one is that emotional relapse, and it basically is during the stage you're not actively thinking about using, but you're bottling up things.
Yeah.
You're just you're bottling up your emotions. Your behaviors are kind of changing. I've done some things this week that was very out of character for myself, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And so that's kind of where you start. You remember the last time you used, you don't want to use, and you don't want to repeat your past, but you're just not quite feeling yourself emotionally. And then it goes down to that mental relapse. This is that transition between the emotional and mental. And it's where it's just a natural occurrence where people are starting to do the poor self-care, isolating. There's just a lot of little more things. You're more irritable, the discontent with things. You might be going to meetings, but you're not sharing.
Yeah.
You might go to meetings and everybody there is getting on your nerves, I mean, it happens. And so right there is where you really, really need to be pulling out your tools and trying to utilize them. In this stage, in the mental stage, this is where literally mentally you're going back and forth with the thought. I want to use, part of you wants to use, the other part doesn't. You're literally going back and forth.
You know that it doesn't solve any problems.
Right.
But
That's that mind of yours.
Yeah.
Because that is what the disease of addiction is.
Right.
It's a disease of the mind. Because our brain is literally wired differently than yours, or someone else's that doesn't battle with addiction. And so right there, you're having the battle of your mind, and you're, I can see it happening. Part of you is like, okay, but no, and just going back and forth.
you've got the devil and the angel
all
on your
day
shoulder.
long.
Yeah.
And in this stage, the warning signs would be you're starting to crave it. You're starting to think about people you used to hang out with, the old places, the old people, places, and things. They're starting to become a thought in your mind. You're also minimizing your consequences and glamorizing the past, and I see that quite a bit. Even in my other job, people in treatment, they are sitting up there around a table talking about the past and high-fiving each other. And I remember my past, and it makes me want to crawl under the table. I will never ever. I think early in my recovery, I would participate in glamorizing the old times, but the more time you get under your belt, that is not nothing to glamorize, because I'm still dealing with the wreckage of my past.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back there and relive it and redo it in a different manner. It'd probably be 20 times worse or even greater than that, and so I always remember where I came from, and I don't want to go back there because I always practice trying to be a better version of myself daily. And if I go back to using drugs, that is just going to take me in a place that I'm still dealing with that guilt and shame as of today because of the decisions and stuff that I did in my past. And I don't know why I'm getting so emotional about that.
Well, the guilt stems from the way it broke down your relationships, with your kids, with your mom,
Right.
With
And
your
I
friends.
lost myself.
Yeah.
And so that sometimes in itself is something that I am literally still trying to process and let go. That is not me today. I am only responsible now for my recovery.
Right.
I can't be responsible for the things that I did when the imposter took over my life. And I can say that 1,000 times, but you get me in a room by myself and start thinking about things, and I'm beating myself up again.
Yeah.
And so
And that accomplishes nothing.
no, it doesn't. And using doesn't accomplish anything either, because then there again, I know where I don't never want to be again. I am thankful every day that I wake up on this side of addict heaven, because this is heaven to me. Because being able to have a second chance at life and living with the mind and the open-mindedness that I have now, this is my best life ever, In 45 years, it's the first time that I can say, I love me today, and I don't need anybody else to define or give me any other love, because I love myself enough today to not settle for less anymore. And so it takes a while to be in that place. Some people are never there.
Yeah.
Even if they're addiction or no addiction, sometimes people can't even get in that balanced place in their mind that they're okay with themselves and who's looking back, at the person in the mirror. And so, so going on, moving forward, because I know I'm running out of time, but ways to prevent is just kind of what I've said with the mental part. I put also, I have to surrender to the fact that I am very powerless over my addiction. And it's a step one, that my life became very unmanageable while I was active in my addiction, and I don't want to do that anymore. Always call someone, pick up the phone. Sometimes it feels like it's 1,000 pounds, and we're back in the 1980s with these big old cell phones, or 90s, whichever they came out. But call someone. And sometimes it just helps to wait at least 30 minutes before you act impulsively. That is so important. I'm not, I typically now in my recovery, I don't act impulsively. Like, I will have conversations with myself, and I don't care if it takes 2 days to process the whole thing out.
Yeah.
So that's just really, and focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow. And don't worry about the past either, because it's over with.
Yeah, you can't undo the past.
No, not at all.
Jamie, it's always a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back with